Hi folks, this is Ashwini. This video is related to screen designing in PowerPoint. I'm assuming that before we go ahead and watch this video, we've already taken some of the PowerPoint tutorials, so we know how to work on PowerPoint, at least the basic part of it. There are a lot of times in the software development when we need to go through the SDLC cycle where we are developing a screen or a product and we need to design this screen so as to give it them to the developers so that the developers can take a look and design their screens accordingly. So a lot of time we need to design these screens. We use different kind of tools to design this. Sometimes we use Balsamic, which is again a designing tool, but it does not give that crispy screen look. Sometimes what you need is how the screen will exactly look with the color combinations, the font sizes, and all this kind of stuff. And it becomes a little more convenient to use PowerPoint as one of the tools for screen designing. So in this tutorial, we are going to go through and design a particular screen. In the slide 2 of this PowerPoint, I have a snapshot here. This screen was developed basically for an application called Zip Clock. Consider that this screen has to be developed at the first place. So I have attached this screen here for a reference how to build this kind of screen. And we'll start with designing a particular frame. So if you go into the shapes, you can choose different kind of shapes. I'm going to take a shape and match it with the same size as the snapshot. Now you see this snapshot, this particular shape has some background and colors. So I'm going to do a no fill. Then the line color, I'm going to choose a very light grayish kind of color. And then on the line style, I want a very thin line, so I'm gonna do that. So that's my frame. Now I'm gonna work in this frame for all the components that's out here. The second thing I want to do is I'm gonna design this alert box at the top here. So I'm gonna choose the same kind of shape again, put it here, go into the format. I don't want any lines in this case, but I do want a fill. Now if you go into the fill, you will see that this particular color is not available, but you can always go ahead and play around with the transparency feature here. So I'm going to choose a red color, which is not exactly the same, but if I increase the transparency, I would be able to achieve that particular color. So with approximately 50% transparency, it looks almost the same. So now I've got that. The second thing I want to do is I want to add a text in here. So alert. So that's the text for you. Alright, so we've got that. Now the font doesn't necessarily match with this, but we could always go ahead and choose a different kind of format. So this particular one is Calibri, so now it matches. Now let's go ahead and design this particular frame out here. Now these are small little tips and tricks that you can always use. I copied it, pasted it. I'm going to remove this text from here because I only need the background color. I'm going to go into the format. I do not want any line color, so line color is no, but the fill I do want, and I want a very light color, bluish light color. So let me see if I can choose. That looks almost close. All right, we can go with that for now. So that's your background color. Then you've got some images here. Now I have a folder here which has all the resources. So these are the images that's used here. If you want to insert a particular image, for example, this image is the avatar image that's right here. Let's insert that. So I can copy and paste it and I can put it here. That's your image. Now we have some text here. Let's go ahead and create a text box. Write the text. And I want to change it to Calibri. Now let's put it right here. Looks like the frame needs to extend a little bit. There you go. Alright, so that's there. Now let's change the color. Let's make it bold. Now there's another text which is beneath that. Let's create that. What I did just now was copied and pasted it, and then I can change scheduled 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now obviously I need to decrease the font size of this. I need to remove the bold and make it italic. Alright, it's almost similar. Then there is one more image out here. So that's the call employee icon. Let me paste that. And let me put it here. Alright, that looks better. Although this color of the background does not necessarily look nice, I'm gonna reduce the transparency to about 15% to get closer. Okay, and that's there. Then we've got two buttons out here. Again, we can go into the shapes. So we can select a particular button here. There you go. Now let's go and format this. So I don't want any line. I'm gonna remove the line. The color here is green. And then I want some text out there. So suggest break. Alright, that's better. Now I'm gonna copy it, paste it. Now instead of choosing the button again and doing the same process, we could just go ahead and copy paste it and then change the color and the text. So I'm gonna change the color. There you go. And I'm gonna change the text. Suggest clock out. Alright, there you go. So we've now got the buttons. Now we have this bottom screen where let's start from here. So we want to add this projected OD part here. Let's copy this part. Paste it here. Take it to the bottom. Now we have to add another text. So I'm going to copy and paste it. Projected overtime alert. That's better. Alright, now we have to add another text beneath that. So I've copied it, pasted it. Alright. So will breach at 11:41 a.m. There you go. A little alignment on the left side so that it looks like it starts right at one place. Alright, there you go. So we've got that. Now what we need is the counter with a box. So let's go ahead and do a shape. Let's create that. Now I don't want any fill in this, so no fill. I do want a line color, which is yellow, so I'm gonna do that. So there's our box, and if you feel that the box is not quite right, we can always go ahead and adjust that. Now I want 8 written inside it. So copy paste 8. And I'm gonna do a center align so that it comes in the middle. Alright, that's better. I want to change the font color to yellow. Perfect. So we've got that. Now there is a line beneath that, so let's add that line. Alright, so that's our line, but it has a different color. So let's format it and let's change the line color. The line color has to be grayish. There you go. So that's your line. Now we do have some more lines here, so I'm gonna copy it and paste it and bring it down here. Again, copy and paste it, bring it down here, but the line here is a little smaller, so let me make it a little smaller from both the ends. Alright, copy and paste, and then again put it at the bottom here. Alright, so I've got that line, but there is another couple of lines here which are vertical, so let me put those as well. So that's our line, the vertical line. Again, I'm gonna change the color and make it whitish or grayish instead. Alright, so those are our lines. Now we need to add the text. So let's do that. 41.0. That's our text here. I'm gonna make this box smaller and make it center align. I'm gonna copy it, paste it. That's 24.5. Again, copy and paste. And that one is 16.5. So you've got that text, but it looks a little larger. The ones that are here is a little smaller. So let's decrease the font sizes a little bit. I think that's fine. Alright, so we've got that. Now we have to add another text at the bottom here. So I'm going to copy one of those text. I'm going to put it here. And the text is projected hours for this week. And I'm gonna decrease the font of it and center align it. That's pretty close. I'm gonna copy it, paste it, put a box here, copy it, paste it, put a box here, and then change the text. So hours worked so far. And the last one is remaining schedule. Alright, now we've got that. Let's now design the bottom screen. It's pretty straightforward actually. Let's again pick up this text. So copy, paste, and then bring it down here. The text has to be, you can swap or delete future shifts. Obviously we have to decrease the font sizes. Let's increase the width of this text box, bring it down a little bit. The font's a little smaller, so let's increase that a little bit. Okay, that's better. Now let's do a center line so that it looks at the center of this screen. That looks better. Now we have to have this text, these two, copy and paste. Let's bring it here. This one has to be 9.0 hours. Alright, and this has to be 9:23 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's bring them down a little bit. Alright, that looks better. This is in italic, so let's make that italic. By the way, the swap and the delete functions are also in italic, so we can do that. Now let's copy this and paste it and bring it down here. And again, copy and paste and bring it down here. Now let's change the hours, so 7.5 here, 7.5 here. The dates are also different, so 9:24, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Let's adjust the box size. And then the best practice is you should always have the same kind of boxes, same kind of sizes of the box. So I changed the size of all these three to match it. But now look, the alignment is not quite right. I want it to be starting from here, so I'm gonna do a alignment to left and then move it a little bit inside. So now that's better. All right, just fine tuning it. Perfect. Now we've got that text. Let's change the last one as well. 3:30 p.m. and the date is 24th. All right, we've got that. Now we have to add these images. So the image, this one is a swap shift image. So you can do a swap shift image, copy and paste it, and put it there. Copy and paste it. Make sure when you paste that image, you see those small dashed lines. They represent that they are in alignment. So make sure whenever you are copying and pasting and aligning it, you always take care of those dashed lines. All right, we've got that. Now we also need the delete icon. Okay. All right. Looks like here there is a lot more space than here. Obviously, we're utilizing more spaces and in the middle. So let's do some refining and alignment work out here. I'm gonna select all these and move them a little upward. That's better. I'm gonna do the same thing with these. If you want to move these text and images very fine-tuned, then you need to press the control key and then use the up and down arrow. That looks better. This is exactly same. The only thing that's different right now on these screens is the color that is being used on this background and this background, but you can obviously go ahead and try different transparency options or other colors and match that. So that's pretty much it for a demonstration of how to design some of these screens in PowerPoint. See you next time, guys. Bye.